Steve Robinson came out of the gate asking each candidate a tailored personal question to let them address some of the concerns people have about them. And I thought it was great because it was personalized. It was hard hitting, showing the main wires not just there to kind of, stroke everyone's ego, but it also gave the candidates a chance to see how they reacted. And I thought it was interesting how each of them kind of took that. You can see when he did the first one and, in the order they had drawn, it kind of got a reaction, but he was fairly evenly handed with each individual candidate asking them that. Now, after that point, it was kind of more of a typical debate with, one question that each of them got to answer on a bunch of different policies. I know Steve had thought about doing personalized questions more, and I think he should have. I think it would have been great. I think it would have been better. I think that's the type of stuff that will help people make decisions. But it was interesting to see there were some candidates who really embraced that. Owen McCarthy, who you mentioned earlier, had a good showing. He was the one I thought that responded the best to the format and to that individualized attention. He kind of made a joke of it at the beginning that like, oh, whoa, hey, Steve, like, good to see you too. And then he kind of played it off well. He had the right energy. And I thought he had a good showing at the debate in general. Owen was someone that I think a lot of people didn't come in there expecting to pay attention to, and he really commanded some attention and got some respect. David Jones, by contrast, in that opening question, David Jones kind of seemed to be taken aback by the question and kind of pushed back at the premise. Something about, being a wealthy boomer with too much time on his hands, I think is how Steve said, the kind of characterization of the criticism. And you could see that kind of got under David Jones's skin. So I think from the outset, David Jones kind of started without firm footing. And we'll talk more about the David Jones of it all in terms of what he did in the closing. But I think that most of the participants were pretty good the whole thing. So there were no, other than the one David Jones moment that we'll talk about, I don't think there were a lot of standout moments because people made gaffes. And I don't think there were any real kind of someone just kind of dominated this. And if you look back to when Paul LePage won the nomination, I think the debates, among other things, but the debates really helped him stand out. It was lightning in a bottle. People discovered him for the first time and they were impressed by his story and his performance. I don't think you have anyone here that rivals that. But I do think Owen's performance will have some people that hadn't given him a look, give him a look. I would also say Ben Midgley came out of it pretty strong as well. I think he surpassed expectations in several ways. I think Ben Midgley got stronger as the debate went on. He came off as very knowledgeable starting from the beginning. And you know me, as someone who worked in government, looking at people that haven't, I often say, all right, do they know enough? You can tell that he's a very fast learner. He's been doing the work. He's been putting it in, and he speaks like someone who's been paying attention. And I thought he had the strongest closing statement of the night, and he kind of got stronger as you went. I don't know how that translates to a broadcast debate where a lot of people will watch the beginning and maybe not finish it. But I thought he showed some strength that I hadn't seen from him before, and I came away pretty impressed by him. Jonathan Bush came away as the most energetic. And he usually does, right? He's entertaining. He keeps your interest. He has a different perspective. You can tell he's a thinker and he's creative and he's innovative and he's got the energy. So I thought, it was probably a good night for Jonathan Bush as well. So I think Jonathan Bush, Ben Midgley, and Owen probably got the most out of this that they didn't have before it.